to understand something about the coast down south. It's not like the clean sand you find up in Northumberland. In Portsmouth, the shoreline is a heavy grey silt that feels like it's trying to hold on to your boots with every step you take. Back in the summer of '94, there was a lad named Elias, a local fisherman who lived on the water his whole life. He was out on the mudflats near Burrow Island, what the locals call Rat Island. Just as the tide was pulling back, he was looking for bait, reaching deep into a patch of silt that looked a little bit darker than the rest. But as his hand went in, something didn't feel right. The mud wasn't cold, it felt warm. Before he could pull away, a grip clamped onto his wrist. And I'm not talking about a bit of submerged wreckage. These were fingers, long, thin, skeletal fingers that squeezed so hard he could feel his own pulse thumping against them. He looked down into the grey sludge and saw the outline of a hand that hadn't seen the light of day in 2 centuries. It wasn't just holding him, it was a rhythmic, desperate tugging, like something underneath was trying to climb him to get to the surface. He barely got away, but he left his boat and his nerves behind in that mud. To get why Elias was so rattled, you have to look at what's actually buried under that island. During the Napoleonic Wars, the Navy didn't know what to do with the thousands of prisoners they were taking, so they kept them on the hulks, rotted out warships with the masts cut off, anchored in the harbour. They were floating coffins. Disease took them by the dozens every night. When a man died, the guards didn't bother with a Christian burial. They waited for the tide to go out, rowed the bodies over to the mudflats, and shoved them into shallow pits. Over 200 years, that organic matter, the skin, bones, the hair, it all bounded with the silt. The ground there is literally made of them. People call it the mud grip. It's a physical trauma of the earth. You'll be walking and the ground will suddenly turn to the consistency of wet meat. Just remember, it's not a ghost reaching for you. It's the silt itself trying to remember how to be human. Then there's the Royal Hospital Haslar. Now this place was massive, built to handle the broken men coming off the ships. But back in the 1880s, surgery wasn't the clean, quiet thing it is today. It was a race against the clock. Amputations had to be done in minutes or the patient would die of shock. There was one surgeon there, big fellow, fast with the blade, who worked the night shifts in the psychiatric ward. They say he got so used to the sound of bone saws that he started hearing them in the walls. And today, the lads on night shift say they can hear him before they see him. It's a rhythmic, wet, grinding sound. When he appears, he's wearing a leather apron so thick with dried blood it looks like black stone. He doesn't have a face, just a mask of stitched together skin, and he isn't walking. He's sprinting towards the old operating tables, carrying a tray full of tools that looks more like a blacksmith's kit than a doctor's. Down by the harbour entrance of Spice Island, back in the day, you didn't want to be caught there alone after a few pints. The press gangs would be out, men hired by the Navy to recruit sailors. They'd drug your drink, club you over the head, and by the time you woke up, you were miles out at sea, forced into service for years. That specific kind of terror, the moment of being stolen from your life, it's left a scar on the cobblestones. Around 3 AM, the air gets heavy, like it's full of moisture. You hear it first, the sound of a dozen men marching in perfect time. But there's no one there. If you stand your ground, you'll feel a cold, rough weight drop over your head, the sensation of a burlap sack being pulled tight. A residual loop, a glitch in the record of a kidnapping. It's been happening every night for centuries. Finally, we go into the Orlop deck of the HMS Victory. Now you've got to remember, this deck is below the waterline. It's cramped, dark, and smells of stagnant oak and old tallow. During a battle, this was the cockpit, a place where they brought the men whose legs had been taken off by cannonballs. It was a place of total unwashed agony. They call the haunt here the Wait. People walk down the stairs and suddenly feel like they've had a lead blanket thrown over them. You can't breathe, your knees buckle, and then the sound starts. It isn't coming through the air, it's coming through the wood. A low collective sobbing of 100 men, vibrating right through the soles of your shoes. The oak of that ship has been a recording device for all the pain, and it's finally reached its capacity. The ship isn't a museum anymore, it's a living, weeping memory. The sea doesn't wash things away, it just stores them until the tide is right. So the next time you're walking the shore and you see something pale and smooth sticking out of the mud, don't go reaching for it. You might find out that the shore has a memory longer than yours. Salt remembers, and now, so do you.